You know how I reported in yesterday's Daily Nerd that allegedly Meghan Markle is leaking stories to the press to try and force the royals to send her a Christmas invitation for Sandringham this year? Well, she's just been denied. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye, and oh my goodness. Yup, let's jump into this one, shall we? So, as I said in yesterday's Daily Nerd, I was discussing the possibility, the opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, that Megxie and Hazza may be leaking stories to the press to say that they'd be happy to accept a Christmas invite from the royals, to actually force the royals to send them a Christmas invite. However, less than 24 hours later, oh, they've been denied. Yes, reports are now coming through rebuffing Hazza and Megxie's attempts, saying that they wouldn't actually be welcome at all by the royals this Christmas, as their Christmas wish and hopes have been dashed, have been eviscerated, have been destroyed. Oh, yes. So going into a little bit more about this, so there were rumours that this Christmas they were going to attend and reunite with the royal family. Rumours, I think, that Team Sussex have been injecting into the media, right? But a source has said, quote, "It's so bizarre to have behaved so badly, demanding an apology and an admission of guilt, to no avail, I might add, from the family, and now suggest they'll just waltz back in and allow bygones to be bygones. If only someone would be good enough to invite them." Right? It's like, after the last couple of years of throwing shiz after shiz after shiz at the royal family and the British public, they now think reportedly that they could just waltz back into the royal family as if nothing had happened whatsoever, and they can just get forgiveness like that. And if they're forgiven by the royals, then, you know, public, we gotta follow, right? And forgive them, and then they can be popular again, and then they can make big bucks again, and then stab the royal family in the back again, and the whole cycle starts over, right? Opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. But yeah, sources are turning around and saying this whole invite to Sandringham for Christmas that Megxie and Hazza are allegedly open, not gonna happen at all. A source also added to the Sunday Times, quote, "which begs the question, why now? Is it something to do with the fact that some of their commercial deals, such as Spotify, have fallen around their ears, and they've been subject to ridicule in the US in shows such as South Park and Family Guy, and Chris Rock's stand-up show on Netflix, and the various celebrities that have spoken out and absolutely roasted the hell out of them? I wonder. The timing of all this is definitely sus, right, guys?" The source also adds, could it be that they've realised moaning about how awful being a member of the royal family isn't such a great strategy after all? Noting that any invitation to Megxie and Hazza would not be welcomed by senior royals. Now, this is the thing, right? Have they actually realised that moaning and backstabbing the royal family isn't a great strategy after all? I do wonder, seeing as there's still a persistent rumour that Megxie is in the middle of doing her own memoirs about her life in the royal family. I don't think they've finished backstabbing the royal family and the British public just yet. Do you guys? Now, this is the thing. Yes, senior members of the royal family would not be happy if Hazza and Megxie did somehow score an invitation to Sandringham this Christmas. And that includes Prince William and, of course, Princess Catherine, who would not want Megxie and Hazza there. The source says it seems as if they're really doubling down on their reconciliation strategy, talking about Hazza and Megxie, right? And the insider added that it was bizarre for Hazza and Megxie to suggest they could waltz back in and allow bygones to be bygones, right? Again, begging the question, why now? Could it have mean that they've realised that what they've been doing over these years just has not worked at all? Now, this is the thing, right? Going back to my video that I did yesterday. If you missed it, do watch it, because I peddle that theory myself. That at the end of the day, I believe, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, that Azza and Megxi, they're leaking these stories that they would be happy to accept an invitation from the palace to attend Sandringham this Christmas. They would be happy to do so. They're leaking those stories, in my opinion, to try and rehabilitate their image, to rehabilitate their standing with the public. Because if it's seen that the royal family have forgiven them by inviting them over to Christmas, right? Then in their heads, they might think that the public will follow suit, will forgive them as well, and then any future commercial products that they do will be bought by the public at that point. Watch my video from yesterday. I go into that theory in a lot more detail, and it's very, very interesting to see that these sources are pretty much saying the same thing. Now, let's not celebrate this rejection too early, because sources are also coming out and saying that King Charles must do one thing to avoid a royal crisis over Prince Harry's Christmas invite. So in other words, if King Charles does want Azza and Megxi over for Christmas, there's one thing that he does need to do according to the sources, and that is to wait a year before inviting Azza and Megxi back to the UK. Now, would I do that? Would I recommend King Charles doing that? Hell no. I mean, the source here even admits and recognises that Azza and Megxi have, quote, remorselessly, when I could get my teeth back in, trashed the royal family for years, and have only just now started changing strategy because their popularity in the US has been affected by it. So this is the thing, right? If King Charles does invite Azza and Megxi to Sandringham for Christmas, whether it's this Christmas or next Christmas or any Christmas, right? Then to me, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, he's fallen into Azza and Megxi's trap, which is them trying to manipulate the media to put these stories out there, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, to say they'd be happy to accept a Christmas invite from the king by putting these stories out to try and put pressure on King Charles to actually send them an invitation for attending Christmas at Sandringham this year. And if he did that and they went, then it could be seen that the royals have forgiven them after years and years and years of them backstabbing the royal family. And to be seen to be forgiven by the royal family, Azza and Megxi would then hope that that in turn would mean that the public would forgive them, and then any future commercial endeavours that they release, the public then buy into it and they make the money, and the popularity then goes on the up rather than currently as it is on the decline. So I really hope that King Charles does not fall into that trap and invite Megxi and Azza over to Christmas. And do you know what? If he did, make sure they're patted down, okay, and they are searched thoroughly for recording devices. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, believe me, of course there's going to be more, then make sure when I get the lights back on, you subscribe to join our alternate tribe. I'll be honest with you, help us get to 100k so we can get that silver play button right there and hopefully cause a boozy meltdown on Twitter. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. Also as well, if you've got some very strong opinions about whether the king should or should not invite the gruesome twosome over for Christmas, and I bet you do, then make sure you send me a super thanks. It's just below this video right here. We can have a conversation about this because it does guarantee a response from me. And until the next time, you guys, laters.